Good morning and good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to the 2020 edition of the European Research Day, the annual flagship event of the Euraccess ASEAN. I'm Tomasz and I'm your co-host today. The European Research Day is the annual flagship event of Euraccess ASEAN for you, the research community in Malaysia and indeed across Southeast Asia. We are presenting to you the many opportunities to collaborate with your research peers in Europe or to develop your career as a researcher in Europe. Today's sessions zoom in on Luxembourg, a small but highly innovative country with state-of-the-art research institutions that are equipped with cutting-edge technology. We have a vast panel of experts presenting the numerous opportunities Luxembourg has to offer to you. Let me briefly introduce you to our speakers today. Dr. Aliénor Dider is the National Coordinator of Euraccess Luxembourg. Hello, Dr. Dider.
Hello.
Heike Scheuerpflug is Head of Research Support Department at the University of Luxembourg. Good morning, Ms. Scheuerpflug.
Hello, good morning.
Dr. Michalis Spiropoulos is Research Operation Coordinator at the Max Planck Institute Luxembourg for Procedural Law. Good morning, Dr. Spiropoulos.
Good morning, good afternoon.
And Didier Goossens is a Head of Corporate Communication at the Luxembourg National Research Fund. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Goossens.
Good morning, good afternoon to everybody.
Before I invite the first speaker, just a quick reminder, the session is an opportunity for you to ask questions. We will have a short question and answer session after each presentation. You should have questions sector on the right side of your GoToWebinar platform. Please type your questions and in the question box throughout the webinar, and we will try to address them. Without further delay, Dr. Dider, may I please invite you to deliver the presentation?
Yes,
Dr. Dider, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tomasz, and yeah, with pleasure. So actually, good afternoon to everyone in Malaysia, and moyen, as we would say in Luxembourgish, to greet you means hello. Actually, Luxembourgish, you will not hear it a lot in our streets. So moyen is one of the words foreigners memorize and understand very quickly, but mostly also the only or one of the few words you will learn, because as you will see also hear from us later, Luxembourg is very multilingual, and so even with English, maybe one more languages or two, you get along very well. So this might be an important point for you when you think about relocating to Luxembourg. Okay, so we are very pleased to have you here today. Actually, me and my colleagues from the Euraccess National Network and joining from other research institutes or also funding institutions. Let's start to see who we then are. And today we already heard we have speakers from few of our institutes, not all of them, and I will tell you how the research landscape in Luxembourg looks. Let's see, the National Research Fund, so the main funder of our research activities in Luxembourg, we have it here represented by my colleague Heike, and he will tell you afterwards which possibilities you have to join Luxembourg with funding. And then a member of our network is the LNS, the Luxembourg National, the LNS, Luxembourgish Institute of Health. This LNS was strongly involved in COVID research, for example, doing testing for our hospitals. Another member of our network is the Luxembourg Institute of Socio-Economic Research. We had hoped to have a colleague of Leaser here today, but it looks as if the person would not be able to join. Then we have the Max Planck Institute of Luxembourg for Procedural Law, and my colleague Michalis will be there as well to tell you what the Max Planck Institute has to offer to joining researchers. Another institute in our network is the LIS, the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology. The Luxembourg Institute of Health, with its associated biobank, integrated biobank of Luxembourg, is there as well to complete the research landscape. And sadly, they will not be here today. But you will have the possibility when the presentation is shared afterwards by my colleagues to click on each of the logos and to learn more about what these institutes are doing, if they're fitting your research specializations, and also to learn more about what they have to offer to you. Lux Innovation It is an innovation institution supporting businesses, research institutions, but also startups, for example. And they are the national contact point for the Marie Curie and ERC grants. I will shortly mention this later on. The colleague wanted to be there with us, but unfortunately he was not able. So a few words from my side on the funding opportunities shared by Lux Innovation. And the main actor in research in Luxembourg, the University of Luxembourg, and with its 3 institutes, like the Luxembourg Center of Systems Biomedicine, for example, very well known for their Parkinson research at an international level. Then we also have the Interdisciplinary Center for Security, Reliability and Trust, the SNT, or also the C2DH, Luxembourg Center for Contemporary and Digital History. So you see, we span a lot of disciplines, and although Luxembourg is a small country, but we're always building up our research infrastructure. This is important to mention that actually small is beautiful, and one of the, let's say, ways to get together we invented is Research Luxembourg. It's an initiative which brings research actors of public research in Luxembourg together to work on joint projects and interinstitutionally. And Research Luxembourg was mainly also involved in coordinating the research on COVID-19. It is interesting to go on their website and to see how things are combined, how the government is also involved in our research in Luxembourg. So this initiative, which will also be presented by my colleague Didier a little later, is really worth checking out, because it's something which shows how united Luxembourg is through its very small scale. And also mentioning that small country, small ways to go to find the other. What we try, for example, to do, just to show you and how we try to integrate new researchers, is to have a national PhD welcome day for all PhDs joining us, regardless of which institutes you're affiliated to. So this year it will take place in October, and each year it's organized anew, so that the new researchers at early stage, they can have some interaction and get to know each other. Well, you know many things about Luxembourg, maybe in the direction of saying it is, known for its financial strength, it is known for its high wages. Actually, also now for focus on space research. But there are some aspects you might want to consider when relocating to Luxembourg, which are important in daily life and which can also make the whole difference. So as you can see from the figures, I hope, we have almost 50% of our population made up of foreigners. So it's 37.4. You see, and among the scientists, it's even a higher percentage, meaning that when you come to Luxembourg as a foreigner, you will not really feel as if me, for example, I've been working in different teams so far, and there was actually not one team since I joined Luxembourg where we had 2 people of the same nationality. And this is very enriching if people like to share, if people like to be surrounded by people which bring back the culture and background, and also be able to speak a lot of languages. As you say here, 170 plus nationalities and speaking no less than 80 languages. And in daily life, you will notice that it's really actually the case when you go out on the street or experience it at your workplace. Luxembourg was also in the headlines some months ago for being the first country in the world to make public transport free. This is an important aspect. It is actually one of the benefits our government brings to people, and it is nice to go out and to take some transport means to go to your workplace and don't even care about having to take a ticket or else. But well, Luxembourg is not just the first in this respect. It scores first on attractive research systems this year in the EU Innovation Scoreboard, so we're quite proud of it. Means that we have a very high rate of international co-publications, and it's also an attractive destination for doctoral students. So these are the two criteria mainly mentioned in the attractive research systems. Luxembourg is innovation leader already for the third year in a row. So, you know, you will be well surrounded here by people wanting the same as you, means moving the world somehow in an innovative way. Luxembourg scores 18th in the innovative economies on the just published Global Innovation Index. It is important for your own safety, but also if you think about relocating with your family. So Luxembourg is one of the safest places in the world. And this is not the only aspect which you should take into consideration, like moving inside the country, but also that the distances actually from Luxembourg to other countries in Europe where you might want to go for research and transnational research projects or just for leisure, it is well located in Europe. So super close to Germany, their direct neighbors, also to France, to Belgium. In 2 hours you are in Paris, and also in Brussels in 3 hours by car. So this is something which will for sure make your life easier on a daily basis, and which also shows you that you're not isolated at all, but that everything is at reach. Let's see. So actually, your access once you decide to come to Luxembourg will be your partner. Also, when you're already on site, there are many questions I get from our researchers who are already here, still concerning maybe taxes and concerning pensions. But for you, it is important to know we are there. We have a lot of information online on our website, euraccess.lu. There is a portal with research positions. If you think about coming to Luxembourg, and our institutes, they have filled their research positions in this portal. So just take a look. Yesterday I checked for you, the actual state was 92 research positions. And then the information you might need all around working and living in Luxembourg. So what is the checklist when you're on board? And which visa requirements do you have when you come from a third country, for example? And how much cost things in Luxembourg? What's the cost of living? Where do I find apartments? The University of Luxembourg, for example, has some for their researchers, doctoral students, and postdocs. So this is the place where to turn to. Yeah, but then also in childcare, where do I go to register my child at a school? For example, in Luxembourgish schools, as we mentioned, multilinguality of people, your children will grow up like speaking at least 3 languages. So this is also a big plus, I think, when it comes to giving good chances for your family. Next part of information, next bit we can offer is the Foreign Researchers Guide to Luxembourg. So this guide spans a lot of information which is already on the website, but also additional ones. It's a compendium you can download whenever you wish, which is made available to you by this link, and you also find it on our main website. Yes, before closing, let me say that when you come to Luxembourg, of course, my colleagues will have all specificities to mention from their institutes what they can offer to you, but we have a big support also from the government. So over the last 10 years, the government always raised its expenditures in funding for research in Luxembourg. And it is good to know that actually when you come and when you spend your time and want to make the country move forward, and also in the research which is at the center of your heart, there will always be a backing also by the government. So welcome to Luxembourg from our side. We love research in Luxembourg, as you saw, and we hope that we can spark you as well, and that you will be here one day to feel it by yourself, what it means to be part of Luxembourg and its ecosystem. And whenever you're there, when you're ready, just come to find me, and please ask for questions. I will be there to answer. Okay.
Thank you very much, Alienor. There are already some questions. Apparently, there was some problem with your slides. I just hope it was individual case, not to all of us, because I was able to see all of them. Some questions are specific, some questions are pretty general. First of all, to all of you, the recording will be shared in the following days after the session. Alieno, will you be willing to share the slides as well?
Yeah, but of course, no, that's what
Okay.
I said. And the slides are clickable. This is important for you to know. It means there are a lot of links you did not see so far, linking to the institutes and else. So for you, it is a short way then to get more information about Luxembourg. There are also nice videos by the nation branding, because what I mentioned now are like the hard facts, saying that it's multicultural, of course, that you have interesting wages, that there is a good infrastructure, but our landscapes are very beautiful as well. And so this is a touristic aspect I left out, but leisure is also an important part of your life. So I also recommend you to see these things when the time comes, and it will all be accessible through my presentation.
Okay, so we will all see the slides, even though there might have been some technical issue. Could you please emphasize this aspect of safety? Because one of the questions was about Muslims. Is it sensitive? It was a sensitive question, but is it okay to be a Muslim in Luxembourg?
Well, a friend of mine asked me something else when it comes to recruiting, and she's from Algeria. And honestly, I didn't hear about any problems. And you mean actively practicing your religion? Is it about that? Or is it if you're persecuted on the street, if people feel more insecure if you're around as a Muslim? So I'm not really sure in which direction it goes, but taking into consideration the very high rate of foreigners we have here, and also people with different religions, I don't see any problems so far, honestly. There might be cases I'm not aware of, but it is the safest place in the sense of criminality, you know, of being attacked somewhere. But I never saw someone in the street being insulted, just because he's different, just because he has a different religion or comes from a different background. But then there are people like this everywhere. But honestly, taking into consideration how our population is split, this should be a minor concern, I allow myself to say.
Thank you. There's some specific questions. Are there any opportunities for PhD in medical image processing?
Medical image processing. Honestly, I could not tell you immediately. Please be so kind to send me a request right afterwards, and I would then direct you to the people in charge if we have the infrastructure to welcome you.
Okay, another short one. Are there any research grants for scholarships under master program?
And the master programs, yeah, but the thing is actually Research Luxembourg, for example, and we take people starting from PhD level. So what we present today, it is funding for PhDs and onwards. So if it's about master programs, just turn to me again, please, because the scholarships we present, and also the slide I will share afterwards, and the information by my colleague from Lux Innovation. This is mandatory in ERC grant, and it's really actually when you consider a research at research stage.
Okay, maybe the last one. Is there any public universities or research institute in Luxembourg conducting research in biomaterial engineering?
We have the biomedicine. It's the LCSB, a Luxembourg Center of Systems Biomedicine, and that is affiliated to the University of Luxembourg. And once again, be so kind, just send me your request, and I would then directly bring you to the person in charge, if it is possible for you.
And how about postdoc? Are there any postdoc opportunities in Luxembourg?
There are many postdoc opportunities in Luxembourg, and no worries about that. I showed you on this last slide our portal, the Euraccess job portal, and there we have 92 opportunities open at the moment. Of course, it's spanning all disciplines, but please just take a look. You can browse by your discipline, and then you will see if something is currently open. Otherwise, we always invite you to go on the websites of our member institutes. Actually, some of them will present themselves today, but others, they have their own job databases, and the ones of LCSB, for example, I just mentioned, or SNT, the Center for Security and Trust, working on autonomous vehicles, for example, or cybersecurity, as they're affiliated to the university, you will find these jobs in the university database, the job database.
Okay, I think we have to move on. We will try to address all the other questions maybe at the end of the session, because these are pretty generic. And also, please feel free to contact Alienor directly with more specific questions. Now we move to Heike. Heike, I am giving you the floor.
Yeah, Thomas, okay. There was just one slide from my side as well, but I can also present it later on. It's no problem. Okay, it's about funding.
If there's any time remaining, yeah, we will do. Thank you very much. Heike, the floor is yours.
Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect.
Alienor confirms, yeah.
Yes, perfect. Hello, good afternoon from sunny Luxembourg. I'm Heike Scheuerpflug. I'm head of the Research Support Department, and I have the pleasure to present you today the only university in Luxembourg with its unique profile that has global impact and enjoys local relevance. So the University of Luxembourg was funded in 2003, so it's still rather young. It has currently 6,700 students with a significant number of master students, 1,730 and 900 PhD students. Alienor already mentioned it, it's a very international university. It's a multilingual university. International can be demonstrated that 56% of our international students come from 129 countries. So it's really a diverse population of students, but also on academic research and postdoctoral stuff. In total, we have staff from 94 countries. We offer 14 bachelor degrees and 14 bachelor degrees and 42 master degrees. All our degrees are offered as multilingual study programs using French, English, and German. There is a compulsory requirement to go abroad for 1 semester. We have multiple international agreements with our partner university across the globe. We have 270 faculty members, 440 postdoctoral researchers, and currently in 2019 we have a block grant from the government that is around 200 million euros. So we are a financial stable institution, higher education institution as well. In terms of where can you locate the university in terms of ranking? And I'm very proud to say that within the shortage of time, the University of Luxembourg ranks among the top 250 universities worldwide in the Times Higher Education ranking. And if you look at the rankings by subject matter, the university in particular in computer science ranked 19, and in engineering and technology ranked on the top 126 and 150 universities worldwide. And share the same rank in social science humanities. So when it comes to the ranking of the young universities, the University of Luxembourg ranks on rank number 12 worldwide and is the 4th among millennium universities set up in the 21st century. And I'm also very proud to say that when you look at the Nature Index, the university ranks number 78 of the top 175 universities. So within a shortage of time, we have been able to already achieve quite significant and moved up in the university rankings worldwide. Oops, sorry. In fulfilling its mission, its third mission, the University of Luxembourg also is a strong partner for society and industry. This can be demonstrated that we have multiple collaborations with European institutions. Luxembourg is almost in the center of Europe, with quite a number of European institutions situated in the capital of Luxembourg. So we have the European Court of Justice, we have the European Commission, we have the European Parliament, and we try to have collaborations with the multiple stakeholders in Luxembourg. But also we try to link very closely to innovative companies in Luxembourg. We have a couple of collaborations with SOS Astra, the satellite global player in satellite research, and putting on the satellite systems into the orbit. Then with Goodyear or Amazon, just to name a few of them. We have close links to the financial sector, to the banking sector and insurance sector. This is also can be demonstrated in multiple collaborations agreements that are put in place with the Interdisciplinary Center for Security, Reliability and Trust. Then we have close collaborations with multiple other actors, so with the ministries, with the government, association, NGOs. So we try to be very well embedded within the Luxembourg environment, but also internationally. The University of Luxembourg is composed of 3 faculties. In total, we have 13 research departments assigned to the 3 faculties, and we have 3 interdisciplinary centers. I will not go into detail in what the faculties are in particular doing, but the program is quite interdisciplinary. As I mentioned before, the University of Luxembourg is the financial sound university. It has the third-party income is close to 66 million euros, and it enjoys a quite significant contribution from the state. So what are the main achievements of the University of Luxembourg? We have delivered from 2005, 18,000 degrees, 6,300 bachelor degrees, 4,400 master's degrees, and 980 PhD degrees. We have also built up over the past years our research reputation. This can be seen in the multiple research grants we have obtained nationally, but also on the European level. In total, we have been awarded over 320 million euros. And more than 90 grants have been approved since the launch of Horizon 2020 in 2014. We have also contributed significantly to the increase of the publications in top quartile journals. And more than 30 publications have been in Nature publication group journals and science magazines. And we can also very proudly say that 3 of our top scientists are named as highly cited researchers in 2019. And this can be, they have demonstrated significant influence in their publication and in their outreach. So when it comes to attracting strategic high-profile grants and researchers to university, we can say that we have seen over the years a significant increase of attracting European Research Council chairs to the university. There have been and then Pearl chairs as well as industrial chairs and public chairs. Chairs are regarded as strategic accelerators. Some of them, they're based on private and corporate donations of funding agencies, such as the Pearl Chair. And we try to look at the balance between academic excellence and socio-economic impact. In total, we have 13 ERC chairs in areas such as physics, material sciences, computer sciences, political sciences, molecular systems, physiology, and psychology. Wie funktioniert das nicht? But we also support technology transfer. And thus far, we have 9 university spin-offs have been founded since 2006. So we see LuxII was established in 2016 and is the vendor, as you can see on the picture, is the vendor of Q2 Robot, one of a handful of humanoid social robots that exist worldwide. And it's the only robot that was built in Luxembourg for healthcare and education, and in particular for children with special educational needs. And then we have also, for instance, Motion S. Motion S specializes in analyzing and augmenting mobility data collected from any device. One of the many applications example is a mobile app that uses GPS data from smartphones to evaluate the driving behavior and the exposure of risk of motorists in order to give them recommendations to improve road safety. So we have many examples of our technology transfer activities. The University of Luxembourg is also involved to support the European high performance computing development in the country, and in particular with regards to the upcoming Luxembourg Meluxina supercomputer, is involved in the implementation of the high performance competence center in Luxembourg. It's a platform that gives researchers, more than 500 researchers actually, the possibility to run compute and storage intensive computations as part of their research. And the HPC Center gives the faculties and the interdisciplinary centers a substantial comparative advantage. And the campus is located in the south of Luxembourg, close to the French border. The campus has the build-up and the reconstruction of the campus has seen quite a significant investment from the government. About €1 billion has been invested up to date to build up a unique innovation hub. And we can see on our campus, not only the University of Luxembourg, but also the FNR, the public research institutes of Luxembourg are located on the campus. The technology transfer incubator is located on the campus. So it's really a melting pot for innovation. So in terms of research education, we have 4 doctoral schools at University of Luxembourg. The doctoral school in humanities and social sciences, the doctoral school in science and engineering, and the doctoral schools in economics and finance, as well as the doctoral school in law. And the 4 doctoral schools run different PhD doctoral programs. In total, 15 doctoral programs are offered among the 4 doctoral schools. They're all situated under the leadership of the Vice Rector for Research. There is a dedicated Office of Doctoral Studies. They organize the entire training of the doctoral program, including the transfer skills program. We have more than 100 nationalities among our PhD doctoral students population. Now, when it comes to research support at the University of Luxembourg, it's a unique mix between central and decentral research support structures that have been implemented over the last decade in the faculties as well as in the interdisciplinary centers, with research facilitators that bridge into the central research support department. In the central research support department, we carry out quite a comprehensive, provide quite comprehensive research support instruments, as I will demonstrate to you on the next slides. Our research support we can provide to our researcher community are clustered around 5 pillars. So we run the institutional validation from pre-award to award and post-award. We run the University Leadership Academy for postdoc researchers. We offer and set up and organize trainings for researchers. Regular trainings, they include transferable good scientific practice, intellectual property rights management, but we also organize ERC grant writing workshops, Marie Curie, Slodogorska grant writing workshops. We organize project management workshops for our researchers that act as principal investigators. In addition, we also quite active in liaising with our decentral research facilitators. We organize regular debriefings with them. We inform them about the latest advancements in guidelines, checklists, funding opportunities. We communicate regularly in our research ticker. We have also carried out the first research external evaluation. We reflect and support the Vice Rector for Research in setting up new funding schemes, concepts, and policies. And when we look at what we do on validating research grant applications from pre-award to award and post-award, we help them in cross-checking the applications. All applications that are submitted, for example, to our national funding agency, the Fonds National de la Recherche, will be submitted via our central department. And it's quite a comprehensive quality assurance process where we look at all administrative eligibility criteria. We look at the ethical aspects. We look at the completeness and coherence of the application. We check the budget. We provide support and advice on how to improve the application. We communicate the funding decisions and update our database. We communicate the funding decisions to our central departments. We run the entire contract management and the entire reporting. So it's quite a comprehensive support package that our research community enjoys at the University of Luxembourg. So when you look at the different career steps from a doctoral candidate to postdoc, tenure, assistant, and associate, as well as full of professor, the increase of skill and competences and knowledge is accompanied by applying to funding instruments. And we at the Central Research Support Department, we provide support to identifying the right funding instrument for the respective career path the current researcher is in. And this is also to enhance the creative and innovative potential of our researchers and of researchers that are coming to the University of Luxembourg. So you will see there's different funding instruments available on the different career track the respective researcher or doctoral candidate is in. And the funding instruments are in particular under the FNR funding programs, as well as under the European Commission Horizon 2020 programs, in particular the ERCs and the Marie Slodogowska career training actions. This slide allows you to give you a better overview where you are in your career and which potential funding instruments under the FNR is of relevance to you. For instance, if you're a doctoral candidate and you could identify a supervisor at the University of Luxembourg in a field that is of your interest, you might want to apply with your supervisor for an AFR individual grant. For postdoc researchers or research scientists, there is the opportunity of applying for an industrial fellowship. Industrial fellowship would be with one of these innovative companies in the Luxembourg context, in the Luxembourg environment. Also of relevance are high-profile grants. We consider attracting talent to the country of Luxembourg, to University of Luxembourg. This is a track that is of relevance for postdoc researchers and research scientists and assistant professors. There are two tracks within the attract scheme. There is a starting track and there is a consolidating track. But you can also apply for core as a researcher from abroad with the support of a professor at the University of Luxembourg. If you're an assistant, associate, or full professor, you can and you want to collaborate with a research group of the University of Luxembourg, you might want to apply for an intermobility grant. The intermobility grant is an instrument that would allow you to fund your salary costs, your travel costs, and subsistence costs while you're staying at the University of Luxembourg for a research stay. If you're a professor, one of our really high profile grants is the Pearl Chair. Usually the Pearl Chair and the attract grants considered as strategic individual grants, and they have to undergo a comprehensive institutional validation. So you would need to have the approval of the research department, then from the faculty or interdisciplinary center, depending in which discipline your research domain is located in. And then you would need to be approved by the rectorate and the management team of the University of Luxembourg. So then this slide is for you to give a better understanding, and if you want to apply for a Marie Slodogowska career training action, as a doctoral candidate, you can be enrolled in an innovative training network, either where the University of Luxembourg is acting as a coordinator or acting as a partner. In this case, you would need to contact and get involved with a supervisor at the University of Luxembourg. If you're a research scientist, postdoc, you can also, the innovative training networks also for postdoc researchers. And then you can also apply for an individual grant. We offer grant writing trainings for the individual grants as well. We have now seen currently 20 applications submitted for the last call, for the last individual fellowship call. Or you want to engage as an assistant or associate professor in a staff exchange program. This is not only for administrative staff, it's also for research staff for small periods of stay in the University of Luxembourg, at the University of Luxembourg, sorry. Now for the ERC program, the ERC funding instruments under the Horizon 2020 program, there are funding opportunities for postdoc research scientists, assistant professors, associate professors, as well as professors. A starting grant would be for postdoc researchers. Consolidating grants, the target would be advanced research scientists and assistant professors and associate professor positions. At the University of Luxembourg, they, similar to the Attract funding program, they are part of a tenure track program that is set up at the University of Luxembourg. Advanced grantees or professors would apply for an advanced grant. They're considered then as an ERC chair. What we can do in addition at our Central Research Support Department, we run a dedicated support instrument for ERCs, for ERC applications. So at proposal stage, we provide ERC clinics. We provide for potential candidates interested in applying for an ERC grant, we offer a CV screening to identify whether they're fit for a starting or more consolidating grant. We offer targeted grant writing trainings. We offer with external consultants proposal writing and revision support. And we always advise that there should be senior colleagues that should be acting as your peers in screening and pre-reviewing your application. At interview stage, we organize the internal mock panel. We completely try to rehearse against real conditions the interview with the European Research Council grant. We also, if required and requested by the candidate, we also will organize presentation coaching trainings. And at award stage, we offer the completely operational support from grant agreement preparation to project management. I think with this, I come to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please send me your questions either via email or address them already right now. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Heike. Yes, there are quite a few questions. I'm not going to pose all of them to you, but I've looked at some that might be interesting to the entire audience. Maybe if you could remind the participants again, where could they read up on the different funding opportunities that you've presented at the University of Luxembourg so that they can study this maybe at home? Is there a particular website that you would recommend that they consult?
So they can, I mean, they will receive the slides. They can contact me, but we have also the FNR funding, the FNR websites. It offers quite comprehensive information about the different funding instruments that I presented. With regard to the Horizon 2020 funding instruments, it's the best. What I can do is when I send you the presentation, I can add the links to the different websites, so they from the presentation site that they're automatic linked to the funding websites. Maybe this could be of help.
Okay, that's great. So the slides will of course be shared with everyone as well as the recording. And I think if we all look at the Euraxis Luxembourg website, there's of course also going to be a lot of information about the opportunities. A couple of more questions maybe for Heike. There was one about language requirements. Is there particular emphasis on being able to speak English, other languages besides English to do a PhD or postdoc research in Luxembourg?
It depends on the domain, but English is the most dominant language among our PhD population. Yeah, but it depends on the scientific domain. If you want to inscribe in Luxembourg research, then of course, I mean, English will not help.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. And maybe would you have an example of, I don't know whether there is one, but someone was wondering if the University of Luxembourg has any bilateral projects with any universities in Malaysia, for example, with any institutions in Malaysia?
Well, not out of my head, but I could double check in my database and I could try to find this out. I know we have collaborations with Singapore. With Korea, So I would not be surprised if you would also have collaborations with Malaysia.
And then maybe a practical question. This is a question that we always have in various forms. So researchers want to reach out to someone at the University of Luxembourg, maybe to establish collaboration. What should they do? What should be the #1 step that they should take?
Either get acquainted with the researchers they have pre-identified already on our university website and send them their, maybe copy us in research if they research at uni.lu. They send their profile and the CV and their research interest to the researcher, but really identify the profile of the researcher first and see whether your particular profile and interest would match the profile of our repetitive researcher at the University of Luxembourg.
Excellent.
Does that answer the question?
I think it does. I mean, this is a message that we've heard from other panelists throughout the last couple of days. It's important to be very clear of what you are interested in and what you are also offering to the person you're trying to get in touch with. So you have to be as precise as possible. And as we've heard, research at the University of Luxembourg will, if you put them in CC, maybe help you along a little bit with making that connection. Perfect.
Yeah, we sure can do that. But it is very important to also cross-read the recent publications of the researcher. So this is, in some intelligence gathering in advance, is really helpful.
Thank you so much, Heike. And as we said, the slides will be shared later on. And I think we will now go to our next presenter. The next presenter is Dr. Michalis. And please, the floor is yours to share your slides.
Thank you very much. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Perfect.
Great. So good morning, everyone in Luxembourg. Good afternoon to our audience in Malaysia. My name is Michalis Spiropoulos. I'm one of the 2 research operations coordinators here at the Max Planck Institute, Luxembourg. And today I will introduce you the Max Planck Luxembourg, the Max Planck Institute Luxembourg. I will talk about our internal structure, our scientific strategy, the type of researchers we have, and I will finish with some recent achievements. So the Max Planck Society. So the Max Planck Institute Luxembourg is part of the Max Planck Society. The Max Planck Society was founded in 1948 in honor of the German theoretical physicist and Nobel Prize winner Max Planck, and it is the successor of the Kaiser Wilhelm Society, which was founded in 1911. The Max Planck Society is Germany's most successful research organization, but more broadly is one of the foremost fundamental research organizations in the world. In fact, 18 Nobel Prize winners have emerged from its ranks, and more than 15,000 publications per year are published in internationally renowned scientific journals. While the Max Planck Institutes are primarily located in Germany, several have been established across Europe, like ours, and also in the US. In parallel, and this is relevant to our audience, the Max Planck Society has set up international Max Planck centers. Such centers are structurally consolidated joint research undertakings established with partners, organizations abroad. And some of these centers are currently located in Asia, specifically China, India, Japan, and South Korea. So the Max Planck Institute Luxembourg was founded, so like the University of Luxembourg, it's a young organization. It was founded in 2012. It is funded by the government of Luxembourg, and it focuses on procedural law. It is one of 11 institutes engaged in legal research. And these 11 institutes cover a broad range of academic disciplines, including anthropology of law, legal history, human rights law, and comparative and company law, just to name a few. Altogether, these 11 institutes operate the world's largest program for doctoral studies, as well as postdoctoral training in law. So a few words about the structure of our institute. So there are two research departments within the institute. On the one hand, the Department of European and Comparative Procedure Law, and on the other hand, the Department of International Law and Dispute Resolution. Both departments share common objectives. One, to identify and to tackle ambitious and innovative research questions related to the broad sphere of dispute resolution. Two, to develop cutting-edge projects at the crossroads of public and private law. Three, support the professional and personal development of our researchers. And four, attract the best and brightest scientists from all over the world. We have two additional units, the library and our administration. So the library is really at the heart of our research infrastructure, and it contributes to our institutional commitment to excellence in legal research. And on the other hand, the administration is integral for technical support in various areas. Each department is run by a director. So the Department of European and Comparative Procedure Law is led by Professor Burkhard Hess. Professor Burkhard Hess is the former Dean of the Faculty of Law at the Universities of Tübingen and Heidelberg in Germany. He is currently an associate of the Institute of International Law, a member of the Presidium of the International Association of Procedural Law, and he's also the chairman of the International Law Association Committee on the Protection of Privacy in Private International and Procedural Law. The Department of International Law and Dispute Resolution is headed by Professor Hélène Ruiz-Fabry. Professor Ruiz-Fabry was the Dean of the Sorbonne Law School in Paris, where she still teaches. She has been awarded the CNRS Silver Medal for achievements in research in France. She's also a judge at the Bank for International Settlements, the president of the Joint Advisory Committee of the OECD, and has sat as an arbitrator since 2015. The director's accomplishments are the backbone upon which the Institute rests. So let's move on to our researchers. We have two types of researchers at the Institute. We have research fellows and senior research fellows. Research fellows are preparing their PhD. They are affiliated with the university, and oftentimes their supervisor is one of the two directors. Senior research fellows already possess a PhD and are sometimes even professors. They use their time at the Institute to develop further their research expertise and prepare for their next step in their career. Over the years, the Institute has successfully attracted talented researchers from Europe as well as all over the world. Among other countries, Australia, Brazil, China, Djibouti, Ethiopia, India, Kenya, Singapore, Serbia, Sudan, the US, to create a really diverse, multicultural and stimulating research environment. And I would like to end this presentation with some recent accomplishments. So just to focus on the 2019-2020 timeframe, 13 PhD candidates have defended their thesis since January of 19. It is common that they are offered to publish their doctoral work right after, and some outstanding research fellows were even offered a senior position within the institute. Our alumni, so former colleagues, have gone on to prestigious careers in academic institutions or the judiciary, or even the private practice, including the European Court of Justice, the University of Strasbourg in France, the College of Europe in Belgium, or Leiden University in the Netherlands. Their successes are evidence of the quality of work performed at the Max Planck Institute, Luxembourg. And while the Institute has spearheaded and participated in many notable scientific events over the year and over these last 2 years in particular, our projects have been consistently remarkable. Our most recent flagship initiatives are the Max Planck Encyclopedia of International Procedural Law and the Comparative Procedural Law and Justice project. So these projects are both intrinsically international and interdisciplinary, and they involve the researchers of each department. So I will start with the Encyclopedia of International Procedural Law. It is an encyclopedia run by the Department of International Law and Dispute Resolution, and it aims to map the field of international procedural law. This encyclopedia is conceived as a resource for practitioners, scholars, legal advisors, policymakers, and observers of international relations and global governance. It is enriched on a monthly basis with a new in-depth manuscripts, eventually reaching over 1,000 articles. So far, more than 500 international experts have agreed upon invitation to author assigned scholarly entries of about 20 pages on both well-established and cutting-edge topics. The encyclopedia began being published online by Oxford University Press in September 2019. The Comparative Procedural Law and Justice project is younger. It is run by the Department of European and Comparative Procedural Law, and it officially started on September 1st, 2020. So this project is a comprehensive study of comparative civil justice in the contemporary world. It aims at highlighting workable approaches and at understanding procedural rules in their cultural context. The final publication will be a compendium on comparative civil justice, which is expected to illustrate the consolidation of comparative civil procedure law as a self-standing research area and to become the main source of reference for future studies. The project, one last point, brings together, in addition to the researchers of the department, more than 100 external academics from all over the world, working from their home institution, and is intending to create a unique network of experts, both based in Luxembourg and across the world. And I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to any questions you may have.
Well, thank you so much. Dr. Michalis. A very interesting presentation, and I'm glad that there's information for the social scientists, because this is usually a concern that we get a lot, that the social scientists feel a little bit neglected. But as we're running a little bit out of time, I haven't received any urgent questions. I'd probably leave it to the end, and I'd ask our final presenter, Mr. Goossens, to present his slides, and then at the end we have a little bit more time for some final questions. So, Mr. Goossens, I'll make you the presenter now, and please do share your slides with us.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'll give you a very short presentation on the Luxembourg National Research Fund. So a general introduction of who is and what does the Luxembourg National Research Fund, a short overview on the project funding at the FNR, and also a few words on the international collaboration. Starting with who is the FNR and what we do. So we are the main funder of research activities in Luxembourg. We manage public funds for research projects, and we have an increased emphasis and focus on the core strategic areas. On this, I have on my last slide the Luxembourg National Priorities document with the link. I will of course also share my slides so you can have all this information afterwards, don't worry. A second part of our mission, so next to funding public research, is that of promoting scientific culture and to raise awareness, public awareness for research and science. And last but not least, we also advise the Luxembourgish government on research policy and strategy. I do just have now some trouble in forward my slide. Okay, there we go. So the vision of the FNR is to establish a leading knowledge-based society based on science and research and innovation. And of course, we want to set up a sustainable world-class research system in Luxembourg. This is nothing we do on our own. Of course, we're doing this with the other research institutions you have seen in the prior presentations. The key values that we have at the FNR are excellence and quality in research. And the one point that I would really like to stress out is the selection process that we apply at the FNR. So each of the funding proposals that are submitted to the FNR are evaluated by independent scientific experts that apply the highest standards of scientific merit. I think that this is an important thing. To have more details on this, we have a short video animation both on our website and also on the YouTube channel that gives more details on how this process really works. But I think that is a very core information to have, and also to understand how the FNR is funding the various projects. As Heike Scheuerpflug has already briefly spoken about, we have some range of funding instruments. We have some 18 of those, and you can all find them on the FNR LU website under the part of the funding instruments. I think the best way to get regular information on each funding instrument is to maybe subscribe to the FNR Info, which is the weekly newsletter that we send out, which has all the important information about call deadlines, call results, and all the major information that is needed and that is relevant. Of course, we also share this information via social media on LinkedIn and Twitter, but it is important to have this more detailed information and also the overview, because each of these funding schemes are very specific and they are very different to each other with own requirements and own deadlines. this is an overview of the different funding schemes that we have. You can see on the left-hand side with the ones that are more relevant for project funding, for people funding PhD grants, innovation and knowledge transfer support, and also science and research communication support. This part may be less relevant for you today. And then on the upper right side, it's more the career stage. So I will focus, give you some more information on the one hand side on the FNR Attract funding scheme that is on this side, you know, starting from postdocs and established researchers. A bit of information on the AFR individual grants for PhDs, and also a few words on the industrial fellowships, right? There we go. So the Attract, the FNR Attract program is designed for researchers that are not yet established in Luxembourg. So the name says it. It's about attracting the people to Luxembourg. Those researchers should demonstrate really potential to become leaders in their fields of research. The scheme offers promising junior researchers the opportunity to set up their own research team within one of the country's research institutions, right? So to be eligible, researchers need to be somewhere between 2 and 8 years after their PhD. And must have an outstanding track record and in their field, so which has to fit strategically to the research agenda of the host institution in Luxembourg. The duration of these schemes are normally up to 5 years, and as already mentioned before, we have two strands. On the one hand side, we have the starting investigators, which is a grant that goes up to 1.5 million euros, and consolidating investigators with a grant that goes up to 2 million euros. As always, we have program managers that are in charge of the various funding schemes. In this case, for the Attract, it is my colleague Marie-Claude Marx. We have the contact details here, but you also find all the contact details of each of the program managers, to whom you are very welcome to send your questions also on the website under the specific funding scheme. I will show you just an example later on. The AFR individual, AFR is one of the FNR's longest running funding schemes, and it now provides funding for the training of doctoral candidates only. The grants are awarded in the form of an employment contract with the host institution rather than in the form of a scholarship. There also we have two subcategories of this AFR scheme. It's the AFR incoming and the FNR outgoing. For you, the most relevant one is the AFR incoming, as this is for candidates from any nationality that may apply for a doctoral position in an eligible Luxembourg host institution. And the candidates will have to spend up more than 50% in Luxembourg under an employment contract with the host institutions. We're going to have one deadline that is in spring 2021. I don't have the yet exact date now. I'll show you one slide afterwards more information about the deadlines for 2021. And just in order to give you an idea, in 2020, we had a budget more or less to finance some 25 PhD grants. And in this case, for all relevant questions about AFR, it's my colleague Azel Hubi who may answer your questions. Then some information on the industrial fellowships. The aim of the industrial fellowship program is to foster the cooperation between Luxembourg-based companies active in R&D and the public research institution in Luxembourg and or abroad. The scheme awards PhDs and postdoc grants to researchers who carry out their PhD or postdoc training in collaboration with a company in Luxembourg. The scheme is open to all scientific domains and to all researchers regardless of their nationality. So the important information may also be that the collaborating companies must have a presence in Luxembourg. In this case, the colleague in charge of this industrial fellowship funding scheme is Dr. Richard Nakat, whose information you also have down here. This is to show you the various call deadlines that we had for the year 2020. As said before, we don't yet have fixed the exact dates of the calls for the year 2021. This will be done probably in late October. We will publish this on the FNR website, but you can look at these dates here for 2020. The ones of 2021 will be quite in the similar period in time, in the same months always. We are not very much varying the moment of these calls. Then also the FNR is also putting some energy into international collaboration. The aim being to foster collaboration and support excellence in research and really to increase international visibility of Luxembourgish research. And for that we have various possibilities. We have a funding scheme that is the intermobility one. We, as the FNR, we have a range of bilateral collaboration agreements with funding agencies worldwide. We have 18 running for now in 13 countries. You can also find all of these information on the FNR website under international cooperation opportunities, where you have, by clicking then on these collaboration possibilities, can get more information of open calls and also on deadlines. But you see, generally speaking, when a call is open with another agency, we have that also already marked also on the website. Next to those bilateral collaboration agreements, we have also a range of multilateral agreements that give really opportunities in over 35 countries. And there again, I invite you to have a closer look at the FNR website. Maybe if I rapidly switch, I hope you can see this. This is just to show you the structure of the website. And now here have the example of the AFR individual PhD grants, but all of the pages for the various schemes are built up in the same way. So you have first you have a general program summary, and then on the right side you have the related contacts of my colleagues if you have further detailed questions, and all related documents in here to get further information also on the various on the scheme in questions. We are a very small team. The whole FNR team is 26 people. My colleagues from the programs and are very happy to answer your questions. As I show you here, the details and the contacts are available here, but I would invite you, in order to ease up the communication, also to first have a detailed look at the various funding schemes that we have. And then if you have precise questions, then really you can contact my colleagues, and they will also happily give you an answer on this. Just a few words on Research Luxembourg, which is an initiative that brings together all the main research actors of the public research ecosystem here in Luxembourg. And the aim is really to promote and to show what type of research is being done here in Luxembourg and the quality of the research that is being done. As Aliana Didier said it in the beginning, we are a small country, but we are a very dynamic ecosystem, even if we are young. And I think that definitely one of the positive arguments of this small ecosystem is exactly being small. So it means that the ways are short and the collaboration also amongst the institution, in between the institution, is quite easy. And one of the best examples in the past months has been the COVID-19 task force of Research Luxembourg, which was set together by people, experts, researchers of the various research institutions, who all put a lot of efforts in order to try to find and help Luxembourg government, Luxembourg population to find some to bring in their expertise into the fighting this pandemic. I'm finishing on this. Here you have the various contacts of the programs that I mentioned earlier in my presentation. As I said, all of these details can also be found on the FNR website under the About Us, our team. You will find all the details and the contacts of my colleagues. And here I also have the document that I mentioned in the beginning, the National Research Priorities for Luxembourg in 2020 and beyond, which for sure is an interesting and important document to have a look at. So to finish, again, I would invite you having a look at the FNR website, fnr.lu. You will find all of the information in there. And if you have more precise questions, do not hesitate getting in touch either with me. I will redistribute your questions, or directly with the program manager or assistant in charge of the respective funding scheme that may be of interest to you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Didier. That was really huge amount of super important information at the very end, I think. I mean, one thing that I've taken away from this is that there are a huge array of opportunities for researchers at all levels to either go to Luxembourg to advance their research career or to set up international collaborations, because that has been a reoccurring question throughout today's webinar. Now, unfortunately, we have really run out of time. As I said, the recording is available, and Didier was so nice to really put it all in his slides. I thought there's a lot of useful information for you there. I heard from another panelist a little bit earlier today that you always have to be prepared to grab an opportunity. And I think what we've had in this session is there are a lot of opportunities up for grabs. You just have to use them. And I think you as audience members, as researchers, not just in Malaysia, but also in Southeast Asia, you have to do a little bit of legwork. You have to go to the different slides and all the information that we've received and pick the one opportunity that's most opportune for you. There are maybe, no, I'm afraid there's no more time for questions. I just wanted to close by sharing my screen just briefly, because I wanted to show something to you. And it is this lady here. This is a lady from Malaysia. Her name is Sabah Noor Shaida, and I do remember meeting her. I met her before she left to go to the University of Luxembourg. So we have a growing number of researchers from Southeast Asia that are spending time as researchers in Europe and in Luxembourg in particular. And you, of course, can be just the way that Noor Shaida has done and and advance your career in Luxembourg. I also wanted to show you just briefly, once again, the Euraxis website. I know that Dr. Alionor has presented that to you earlier in the webinar today. I just had a quick look here at Euraxis Luxembourg and the job opportunities, and you can see 95 opportunities alone in Luxembourg for researchers of various academic disciplines and of course of all nationalities. So my advice for you to take away today is to really make use of the Euraxis database to find your next career opportunity, to find your next collaborator, and to find that support that you need to make your research mobility a reality. And I think with this, I will thank all the presenters for today. Maybe if you all want to just switch on your cameras again, then we can wave goodbye to our audience today. You've all been fantastic. And again, we will share the slides and the recordings with all of you. And I think hopefully many of you will make your way to Luxembourg in the near future. So with this, I think everybody stay safe, have a good day in Luxembourg, and everybody else have a good afternoon here in Southeast Asia, and we'll see you all very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Maybe see you in Luxembourg one day. Bye.
Bye.